I'm making plays. I'm making hits. I'm making hits. I'm making plays. I'm making plays. I never miss. I never miss. Haters gon' hate. Yeah, they gon' hate. But look at the clips. Just look at the clips. At the end of the day, I was made for this shit. Dog, I was made for this shit. Nothing but green grass in my view. Hit him for 50 yards up the middle. All of my rushes are ready to move. Tell your quarterback, head on the swivel. Came all this way, so we hungry as hell. If we ain't winning, we ain't leaving the field. Overtime, now the shit getting real. Double overtime, shoot for the kill. I put it all on my shoulders. Give 100 till it's over. All of this ice in my veins. Tell me, how could there be anyone colder?
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome to the Arrowhead PM podcast powered by Chiefs Kingdom. We got we got DG, we got Trizzy, we got myself, possibly Ethan, who knows? But we are here to talk Chiefs ball, to go over the tape, to preview the Bucs game, to go over some stuff. And thank you guys so much for joining us. Trizzy, DG, how y'all doing today?
Doing great. What's up, man? I'm doing all right. Wednesday, hump day. I'm trying to get over the hump, making sure, taking care of business. But, it's good to be back with the guys, of course, every Wednesday, 7:30. We here rocking out. Shout out to my guy, Dom. Good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a couple episodes because I've been out. You've been out. My guy, DG, I rocked with you last week. We held it down. So, Ethan, too. So, it's good to be back with the guys for sure, man. 7-0. Something like that.
Oh, I said. I think I put 8-0. I'm projecting. My
no Stradamus, huh?
I had a great weekend betting. I'll say that. But man, so we're gonna go over the Raiders game. It was a 27-20 win that never really seemed like a tough game. I mean, obviously, we were down 10-7 at one point, but as soon as the offense got clicking and the defense stood up in huge moments, it was a backdoor cover by the Raiders. We were up by 14 points. Ends up being a 7-point victory. It was a great game. Of course, we go to Arrowhead West and we get the job done. Trizzy, what were your initial thoughts, man?
Just about the Vegas game, I thought we just looked more in sync. Obviously, we were anticipating, D Hop, and we got to see him right away. Actually, on a critical play in the opening drive. So, which actually, that catch actually allowed to us go down and score. So, just being able to see the offense, even though they talk about the struggles of Patrick Mahomes and the unfluidity of the offense. I felt like this week. I felt like as we see it more in the San Francisco game, even though we threw two picks, one of them was tipped. Same thing in the Raiders game, tip ball, stuff like that happens. But I felt like he responded very well, was able to command the field, took control of the offense, took control of third downs. They were very good at situational footballs, being able to I think they were able to convert like 60 or 70% of their third downs. So that's just a testament to Andy Reid being on tune with what the defense is doing and understanding where we need to attack and who to get the ball to. So I thought Pat did a great job. Even though that tip pick happened, stuff like that happens. I thought the defense played their mind out once again, putting them in bad spots. I thought Gardner Minshew played well as well. Tip my hat to Gardner Minshew. I thought he played a hell of a game, given the circumstances. Jacoby Myers played well, and then you really don't have many targets after that. So for him to get different guys involved, I felt like, he was really coming out there to win. So shout out to Gardner Minshew for putting up that championship effort. But at the end of the day, man, what Drew Tranquil say, Kermit and the boys hold it down to Arrowhead West once again, man. You know what I'm saying? So I told them to clean up that champagne smell. We don't want them to smell that in that locker room. Y'all need to go back to making it smell like the facility. You know what I'm saying? We didn't want them to smell no championships, but I thought it was a good performance all around from the defense and the offense. Thought it was some times where we kind of gave up some stuff in the secondary. Obviously with the injuries we have now, but I feel like all in all, once again, Andy Reid and Spags just showed why they're two of the best in the business. So. Shout out to those guys for fighting for adversity. Obviously, we fell short a little bit coming down, but I thought we were able to, make things better in the second half with the adjustments and, also the execution. Sorry, I
Yeah.
keep slipping.
Nah, you
No,
good.
you
You
good,
good.
dog.
Nah, I agree with everything pretty much Treasy said. I feel like the offense was in a better sync. It's been in better sync the last couple weeks. Um, being able to kind of run the ball effectively, not huge explosive runs, but just keep keeping themselves ahead of the sticks, staying in third and manageable, second and manageable. Feel like they've done a good job of that. These last couple weeks. Um, Defensively, it's really everything that I expected them to do. Shut the run down. Um, there were some plays that Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker and Brock Bauer. Brock Bowers is going to be an absolute star in this league. But I feel like they did a good job of containing those guys. Obviously, those guys are playmakers. They're going to make plays at points in time. And I feel like Gardner Minshew played very well for his standards. Seemed like they were really emphasizing on him not turning the ball or putting the ball in kind of harm's way, and I think he did a good job of that until about late fourth quarter-ish. But when Mike Pennell gets that strip, the little strip sack at the end. But yeah, man. All in all, I feel like it was a good complimentary game from both sides of the ball. Still got to clean up, some of the turnovers, some of the penalties. Uh, rough day for Wanye Morris. But it's one of those things that he could be just, he just matches up badly against the Raiders, or could be one of those things that we really might have to kind of worry about at this point in time. So we'll see on that front. Still would like to, give him another shot this week to see what he can do. If it repeats cycle, then I think we might have to, think about going another direction at this point. But yeah, man, definitely love what they did. Love seeing D Hop out there. I know he played 23 snaps. I wish he would have played more. Wish they would have used him a lot more on third downs, especially, or in the red zone, especially too. A couple times that they did use him in the red zone, you can clearly tell there's if the eyes, eyes go that way, defensive eyes go that way. They got to find out where 8 is on the field, and it opens up other guys underneath, like Travis Kelsey for the touchdown and things of that nature. So, yeah, man, I'm glad we have a legitimate receiver that can get open, impress man one on ones, and win his one on one matchups. There was a couple times he had a couple routes that you could clearly tell he's just a different type of receiver, man. And some I think this offense hasn't had. Pat really hasn't had since he's been here for a while. Since 10 kind of left and went to Miami. So um, yeah, man. Overall, great game. Always fun to beat the Raiders, especially in their house, to stay undefeated in that stadium. Arrowhead West, another trip. It was definitely a success. So.
Hell yeah. Fun fact: Andy Reid has the most wins as a coach in that stadium. Let that sink in.
Hasn't lost.
Never
That's
lost.
crazy.
Has more than Josh McDaniels, more than John Gruden, more than
Legion Stadium. Hate to see the Chiefs come.
yeah,
They
dude.
do for sure.
But speaking of like the Wanye Morris conversation, I think maybe the Raiders are his kryptonite. Maybe Max Crosby is. He did have a rough game, especially in that third quarter. But like I kind of wonder if we kind of pulled the trigger too quickly on Kingsley a bit
Yeah,
after that
yeah,
Trey Hendrickson game, but that's just
yeah.
me.
And I'll piggyback off of that. I mean, I'm not, obviously we're not in the coaching room, but I'll say this: I seen a lot of Wanye last year, and it kind of, brings me to this point of bringing in a guy like Kingsley because you went and got him in what, the second round, right?
Right.
So obviously you had a vision for what you want the offense to be, especially from that position, an athletic guy who can get out of space, a big guy who can get his arms on you. I feel like Kingsley played well in the Baltimore game, and then you ask him again, like I've never seen Andy Reid not help a guy out, especially a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So no chipping against Trey Henderson, I feel like is a mistake coaching wise. Kingsley is talented, but asking him to do that against Trey Henderson in that type of game, I just feel like was too tall of a task. And maybe I feel like because of the the script that the Chiefs was trying to put together with the three-peat and everything on the line, I feel like maybe they want more of a sense of urgency from the position. And I feel like maybe Wanye maybe gave them that sense of security. But I feel like maybe in the long run, I do kind of agree maybe with that take that maybe they kind of just pulled the shotgun too early. Based on the situation and everything at stake, wanting to gear up for the playoffs, all the injuries going on, you want to be sure that your guys are solid because really can't afford to lose many more guys. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can stay healthy. Which I'm praying that we will. So therefore we have a better view of um, what it looks like for us to attack offenses and defenses during the playoffs when it all matters. I feel like Andy Reid is probably one of the best coaches at that, preparing guys for those type of competitions. And if you go back to what training camp, Wanya Morris wasn't in the lineup. He wasn't getting the first team reps next to Joe and Creed and Trey and Juan. So it's a lot of different lineups going on. It's a lot of inconsistency. And as I said, as the weeks go on, you kind of see the consistency and the comfortability in the offense kind of grow along with the offensive line, along with Pat. But again, it's one of those games. It's Max Crosby. He had a bad, a tough outing. And instead of benching him like he did to Kingsley, he let Morris stick it out, which I feel like he should have did with Kingsley in the Bengals game. But, instead he kind of went to Morris because he felt like the situation and the moment, which I get. So it can maybe be a mixture of both, but I feel like maybe Kingsley will have another opportunity down the line, but hopefully that could be a learning experience for Wanya and Kingsley going forward, and both of those guys can grow, and we'll see who the best guy is.
Yeah, I just feel bad kind of for Kingsley, but it is kind of a learning moment. I don't know what's going on in the coaching room. None of us do, so it's kind of hard for us to really make an assumption of what Andy has for the team when it comes to Kingsley. But I kind of just wish he gave him another shot, or at least let him start the following game. But I mean, Wanye, when you're taking on like top 10 pass rushers and you're still like first or second year players, I mean, there should be kind of a learning curve when it comes to those situations. But like you guys said, like this didn't to me, I know it's the Raiders and I know it got close after a tipped interception. It seems like Mahomes in the interception bug. It says a lot when Vegas is making it minus like 110 for a Mahomes interception rather than plus money. He's just the last three interceptions even four interceptions specifically, it's either tip balls up or just slipping up. So it just happens. But I expect in the next game, well, I don't expect, I'm praying to God that there's not another turnover by Mahomes, but you never know. Good defense can get defensive plays. So,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
even if there is, I mean, I feel like, I mean, again, you're gearing up, you're losing. I want to see how many quarterbacks, how many teams will lose. I say Isaiah Pacheco and Rasheed Rice probably about 35 to 40% of our offense last year. Then you throw in the fact that Hollywood Brown never played a snap for us.
right.
Then on top of that, Juju's and getting injured now. So inconsistency at the lineup, game plan broken, have to go in with new guys. You take the tip pass away in the Raiders game. You can't take interceptions away, but I mean, it's a tip pass that happens. I feel like Pat really played well besides that. So I feel
100%.
like the offense is growing, leaning on Kareem Hunt, leaning on the run game. It's been successful, so it's going to be different. It's going to look different the way we win football games. I think we've all kind of identified that. But I mean, even if another turnover happens, I expect December, January come, a lot of things to be cleaned up, and then maybe we'll get some guys back. So we'll see.
100%. Let's go into some film. So you did mention one of our newest edition, D Hop. I got his first third down play right here with some illustration. He's right here in the bunch formation. Crucial third down. Sees the zone, catches it. just great veteran presence. I think that's what's been missing from like a Mahomes-led team is a veteran wide receiver since Tyreek left. I mean, obviously you had like Juju and MVS who were veterans, but to have like a veteran all pro as your guy just really helps everything work well.
Yeah. It's one of those things that he you can tell even on this play right here, he kind of understands zone, understands where to be, where to sit. And this is something I feel like in his 12-year career that he's just been able to kind of pick up on. This is exactly why it was really adamant for them to go get a guy that was a veteran that knew, that knows what to do, that's seen everything in this league. Just because you can't, it's hard to get guys off the practice squad and things like that to come up to this level and be able to know what to do. Um, and do it at a very high level. And I think DeAndre Hopkins shows that in this play alone, of knowing, look, we got this coverage. This is where I need to sit. This is where I need to be, and just fire it to him and let him make a play. And then to show the capability of his hands right there, he's got some of the best hands this game has ever seen. Um, I don't remember him rarely ever dropping any passes, or anything like that. So very reliable hands. I can't wait to see this connection even more. I hope they clearly try to get him the ball a little bit more even this week. So yeah, this was exciting, especially on a crucial third and 8. When you really needed it, and this is why I was saying that they needed that type of receiver that can win these kind of downs.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of what DG said, I mean, he really broke everything down. It's just a great play call from Andy Reid as well as execution here from D Hop. You see Zay at the top pushing that inside guard towards the sidelines to give him that open window to sit in.
Uh,
D Hop does a good job kind of pushing to the inside and coming back out and sitting there, like you said. Just a great play call, great execution for him from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So, and then being able to add a guy like D Hop, who again, I kind of talked about this in the space, like you rejuvenate a guy like that who's talented, understands defenses, can catch the ball, can win those one on ones down the field, short routes, intermediate routes, crosses. Going to be able to scheme guys up more so like Travis Kelsey, like an Xavier Worthy. Like Juju when he gets back, we still got Jay Watt. So guys are going to be able to learn from him. I think D Hop, the player, is great. Obviously, I think we'll be able to capitalize with him. Obviously, Andy Reid talked about using him more on Monday Night Football against the Bucks. So it's going to be exciting to kind of watch that connection grow, along with him being able to get guys open like a Travis Kelsey, like we just like all those guys we just named, but let alone his leadership, being able to give guys pointers in and out the locker room, how to be a professional, how to take your game to the next level, trying to understand defenses at a high level like he does. So having a guy like that in the locker room only gets us better. He's for sure going to wear a gold jacket one day. So I think we only benefit from this. And I think, at this point of his career, a lot of people, they get to the Chiefs and all of a sudden they don't know how to play football, says the NFL. So I'm excited for what D-Hop brings to the team. I really think he's going to have a great year, man. I think he's going to be able to do something special.
And here's another play by him. It was a 16-yard gain on the last field goal of the first half. Being able to recognize the one-on-one matchup he has with the corner. I put in 0.75 speed. Just a nice out route for 16 yards. Just a clean look.
Yeah, you can clearly see his release off the line. Um, it's just something, like I said, you haven't had in this offense, especially last year. Something where the Chiefs kind of really struggled, but you can just see his plan as he comes off the line and is lined up man to man on the cell, what they call like a little cell concept. Um, but him knowing, where to, like I said, the presence of mind of where to be, where to get to, um, have his head turned around, knowing that, hey, the ball might come my way. New receiver in this offense, you may come in A younger guy may come in and think he might not be getting the ball at this point in time. May not even have his head turned around to see that. But him being in this league for 12 years, like I said, he just has that presence of mind to know um, what to do in the right moments. And it was clearly indicative on Sunday. Man, it's just amazing, amazing, amazing to watch. But love the way he gets out of his breaks, um, especially at the top of his route. You kind of want to run it back a little bit.
Here, let me slow it down a little bit for us. Boom. Boom. Is everybody good? It's DG, Trizzy.
Can y'all hear?
I did not hear you at all, and I don't know what happened to Trizzy. I mean to DG, but we'll see what
Oh,
happens real quick.
the storm probably knocked them out.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
Well,
probably because it looked like it went black. But where was you at? We'll get DG back. I'm sure he'll be back on.
we were just looking at the D Hop, that last D Hop play, and just seeing what he brings to the offense and to this wide receiver room in general. Just nice veteran presence. And yeah, he's been doing great. I mean, I know he's only had 32% of the snaps last game, but those are definitely going up this next game for sure. And I can't wait to see what he brings. I think this is going to be a big game for him, especially against a Buck secondary that's not very good. But you never know in this league. It's any given Sunday, so it might be tough. But I feel like D Hop's going to cook in this next game, for sure, to give us some stuff. Also, a guy who also cooked, Travis Kelce, 11 catches, I believe, for 90 yards. Coming into his own again. The washed comments and the regressed comments are kind of silly at this point. But it is also the Raiders, and Kelce just cooks up the Raiders like he always does. This is his touchdown play. Great recognition from Pat when it comes to the space, especially with that linebacker trying to stop him, and it does not work at all. But that's 87 doing 87 things.
Yeah, just being patient, understanding the space, knowing that he had a split middle second to kind of fit that ball in right there. They show up front right there. Obviously, you want to try to take care of Max Crosby, put some bodies in front of him. And then Pat just does a good job with Trav being patient and coming off of that kind of like it's almost kind of like a sit route. You just coming off, wait for the guy to go across. He identify where's the linebacker is and just kind of waits a little bit just to have a second pause. Boom. So that's money. That's day and night for those two guys. Been watching them do that for years, and it's good to see Travis Kelsey finally get on the board on National Tight End Day. I had my Killer Trav jersey on, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So it was good to see my dog finally get in the end zone, and let alone get in the end zone, but have an impact on the game, man. Just making play after play. Just showing you, why he is who he is. So it was big to have a game like that from Travis Kelsey. Obviously, I'm sure we'll be able to capitalize on that going forward. And then you already talked about what a guy like D Hop can bring to the table. So I think this only just gives Andy Reid, more ammunition to play with. And I feel like, once he gets the firepower, once he gets that baking soda and that, that gunpowder right, it's going to be an explosion. So I'm excited for Travis Kelsey. I'm excited for all of the guys in the locker room right now, just having this opportunity to continue to learn, continue to get that oil, that oil built up, that machine going, get them in the right spots, so once we hit the time for us to really put it on the show, those guys will be ready to go. So I'm excited for the offense. I know they've been struggling. I know, he say, she say, they say, but I'm excited for the offense going forward.
Yeah, love what they did down there in the red zone, man. D Hop presence on the field just opens up so much more. Keep that back safety really honest, especially having a split between the two of them, and I think that kind of allows for that little small window for the 87 to get open, and just I love the presence that they're gonna have to have. They're gonna have going down the stretch here of having somebody that like I said can win their one-on-one matchups down there in the red zone area, and they can be reliable. So runs the right route. I mean, absolutely just is able to really get that safety's eyes to kind of cheat over to his way to make sure that he doesn't make a play, and then it just leaves Travis Kelsey open for a touchdown. So yeah, man, love having 8 here, man. It's definitely gonna be fun.
For sure it
Yeah,
is.
for sure. Before we get to the defense, I kind of wanted to highlight another offensive player that I think some of Chiefs Kingdom thought had a very rough game or maybe an up and down game, and that's Xavier Worthy. I think there's a lot of talk, especially today, about Xavier Worthy and
Mhm.
if he was the right pick that we did for the first round. I mean, we see the tape every week. I mean, he makes an impact even on some of the tape that we just looked at, like that D Hop sideline catch. He was wide open. He's getting consistently open. I think he's just trying to get into a groove with Mahomes. And this was the most targeted he's been in the Mahomes offense. 8 targets, 4 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown. I'm going to play a clip that was a 16-yard gain that he did, where it was a sliding catch, but I think it was just great to see Pat get that kind of with his receivers more and more as the weeks go on. But this was also the same. It was the same drive that D Hop had that 16-yard game. This is another 16-yard game, but earlier. And Xavier Worthy just makes a great not diving catch, but sliding catch. He gets wide open right here, recognizes the throw, makes a great catch, gets us closer to field goal range.
Yeah, yeah. Xavier was obviously brought here for a reason, uh, for a role that I feel like last year we really struggled with. You know, and it's no knock to the guys that were here last year or anything, but those guys weren't able to execute this role as well as he's already been able to kind of do in his rookie year. Of course, you're always going to have growing pains with every rookie. They're young players, still trying to learn, develop in this league. It's a faster game. It's a lot more to learn at this level. So you have to be willing to kind of be patient with them and give them time. Um, it's rare that guys ever come out of the draft and just explode onto the scene, and when they do, those guys are considered generational talents. They're just better than everybody else is, So I think a lot of people always also have to temper their expectations. Sometimes not every guy is going to be a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson or anything like that. This kid was obviously brought here to stretch the field for us, to open things underneath for us, and he's been doing a great job of doing that or whatever. You can clearly tell teams are afraid of his speed and what he can do, down the field, and then things he comes up and makes plays, like this. There was a couple drops, but like I said, those are just growing pains at this point in time. So you just kind of have to be patient, allow him to work his way, get his chemistry going with Pat, and allow him just to grow, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, great,
man.
But
great
my bad.
crosser, good hands on this play as well too. That wasn't an easy ball to catch at all. Go ahead, Tracy.
Well, no, I mean, you pretty much hit it on the nose. I mean, first of all, just again, pointing to his role in this offense, it really was supposed to be, again, a learning curve for him. He was supposed to be coming in, learning from guys like Hollywood and Rasheed. Obviously, those guys went down early on. We kind of seen, we got to see a little bit of Hollywood and I mean, not Hollywood. We got to see a little bit of Rasheed and Zay in that Baltimore game. Just those guys just wanting each other to be successful, always supporting one another. But I feel like again, Xavier Worthy's role was to come in here and stretch the field, win those one-on-one battles down the field, run past your guy. He's been doing that. We've been seeing it on film consistently. They just been missing him. So we don't know what his season would look like if those targets go to him during those plays. So it could be a lot of talk and a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, but I think Zay is doing an excellent job of in his role, and I feel like once those targets come to him, this is a divisional game, tough matchup. The Raiders have a good defense too, so they have one of the best pass defenses in the league. So for us to be able to come out and kind of move the ball the way we did, Zay made some big plays when we needed him to. Obviously he had a few drops here and there, but I feel like for the most part he's been doing his role well. Like DG pointed to, it's not many guys that come into our offense out of college and able to be a guy that's being able to be relied on as much as we had to rely on him, unfortunately. So, but I feel like he's took the role very well, and I feel like he's only growing. He's going to be dangerous once December, January comes. He's working with guys like Hop now. Already been working with Travis Kelsey, being able to use that speed and understand different things about the offense and how we attacking. Andy Reid's doing a good job of again scheming up plays like this one here. Got Pat on the sprint out inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
Just get him on the outside. Nice little pick play from Noah. Keep the shoulder pads upfield so they don't throw the blow the whistle. And it's a great execution from Zay right here, even though he had to drop before. So again, it's a lot of things that people are going to point out, but I feel like for him coming into this offense, being able to pick it up, being behind some guys in training camp, then coming along the scene, being relied on like this, has some times. I think what he got. Do we got the most touchdowns as a rookie?
5.
Yeah, I think so. He might be
Tied
leading
or
touchdown.
tied. He
He
might
might
be
be
tied
tied.
as our leading rookies in touchdowns. So I feel like he's right where he needs to be, and he's only going to grow from here.
Yeah, he's got 3 receiving touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. I think the second guy with touchdowns is tied with Rasheed and Juju with 2. So, and obviously it's been very helpful since we've been able to get Kareem Hunt to replace Pacheco and really establish the run and really make it easy for guys like Kelsey and for Xavier Worthy. And now that D Hop's in it, for us to even execute even better. I mean, the last 2 weeks specifically, I mean, they say our offense is still not executing to the level that they want us to do. I'm sorry that we're not scoring 50 against the Titans. All right. We're still effective, especially red zone. The last couple of weeks, we've been very effective in the red zone. And like Tristy said earlier, we were 70%, 12 out of 16 in third down. They're second in the league in third down conversions and third down percentage. That's fantastic. And it's only going to get better from here. Every week since that Chargers game, I felt like the offense has been clicking more and more as the weeks go on. And it's only going to get better, especially now that we got D Hop and now that we got this kind of continuity where we've been able to fix the holes since our injuries. And, guess who's coming back in November? Pop come back in November. Juju will get healthy and will come back eventually. I feel like guys like McCole Hardman and Noah Gray have been crucial to us playing better
No, Gray has
offensively.
been excellent.
He's been tight end 1 at some points, and that's been pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy
So
to see.
let's shout out the defense. So we had 5 sacks, which was fantastic. I know a lot of people are going to point out the Najee Johnson getting a concussion, how we've been able to address the Jalen Watson issue, not Watson. Yeah. The injury, my bad. I know there's a lot of talk of, are we going to acquire another defensive piece? But I feel like now that and we're going to talk about him later, but now that we've acquired a new pass rusher, we're only going to get better from here. Still Charles Omenihu's coming, but I got a couple of plays that I wanted to show. So let's find it real quick. I have a sack by George Karlaftis to start off. George is starting to get better and really finally get to the quarterback, which is exciting to see.
Mhm.
on this 3rd and goal, huge play, ends up with a field goal for the Raiders instead of a touchdown. George is getting there, and I know a lot of people have thought he started slow, but I feel like he's always cooked as the season goes on, and he's got great awareness throughout this entire game.
Yeah, George Karlaftis was excellent in this game. It was a lot of goal line situations. He's pushing guys back. He's getting off of blocks, shedding guys, making tackles, squaring up, being physical at the point of attack. George Karlaftis is playing some great football. He was struggling a little bit the first couple of games. You know, we were kind of waiting for his number. You know, we were waiting for him to kind of get hot. Looks like he's getting on this hot step right now. Just, you know, absolutely been a force, especially in this Raiders game. But the last 2 games, man, George been able to really ball out for us. So it's good to see him actually, you know, stepping up. But it ain't just him though. You know, we missing, you know, one guy, you know, by the number 98. You know what I'm saying? He was throwing up the money signs. Another guy that's really having an excellent year, Trayshawn Wharton. Just, you know, seeing him bounce back off the injuries, I think we finally see him fresh. But just another guy to point out. Obviously, I think this is one of the goal line situations I was talking about. Look at George pushing him back, pushing him out of the pocket, making him step up. Trayshawn coming up for the sack. Like those 2 guys are playing some ball right now. So if we're able to continue to play like this, you know, obviously, you know, we ain't talked about it yet, but there's another guy that get me excited, you know, watching some of his film and some of his tape. But, you know, we get Charles Omenihu back as well. So the defensive line, you know, are causing pressure, but we're not sacking the quarterback, which is, you know, kind of a concern. But, you know, I think, you know, somebody by the name of Beach made a certain call this week. I don't know what that was about, though.
Yeah, running. Yeah, you get great push from George right here. Absolutely doing his job of collapsing the pocket, and allowing for Tershon, who's 1-on-1 with his guy as well, to get upfield and make the sack. It cracks me up every time, man. Chris Jones is double teamed every time. Like
Triple
it
teamed at some
doesn't,
point.
yeah, it doesn't matter where 95 is on the field. They're definitely gonna send a double team his way. But it's been great to see Tershon Wharton really have the opportunities, and this is what a guy like Chris Jones, this is why you signed him. This is what he provides for you. He gives you guys the one-on-one matchups to get in the backfield and make plays like this. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why Tershon Wharton has really been having such a great year. It's great to I know he loves getting down there and looking next to him and seeing 95 really next to him. Oh, dang, it's funny. But yeah, man. Pass rush obviously has been better, these last couple weeks. Chiefs have been kind of middle of the pack this year, getting sacks or whatever, having generated a ton of pressure off the edges. But I feel like these last couple of weeks they've been doing a lot better job. George has really stepped up his game, being that pass rusher off the edge to kind of win his one-on-one matchups. And I feel like it's only gonna get better now just because of a new acquisition that's in town to help them as well too. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
and
good.
speaking of that new acquisition, I think it's about time we start talking about that kid. Um,
Josh
man,
Uchi.
Josh Ushi, Joshua Ushi. Um, look,
I'm gonna just call him 5-5.
double nickel.
Yeah.
You need a dime, I got a nickel. But this kid, man, some of the things that we seen, I don't know, you know, maybe if we can get some of that pulled up here in a minute. But just speaking on, you know, like again, George Kalaf just turned on kind of, you know, mid-season, early bye week. He come off the bye week, had a good game against the Niners. He complimented that game with the Niners now against the Raiders. So we're able to again compliment on that. DG pointing out for Chris Jones, for me, may not be mentioned, but to me, he's having like one of the defensive player of the year type of years right now. The way that he's able to impact the game, the way he's able to make everyone around him play better, be in better situations to make plays. So, and then you talk about the addition that we were able to get for next to nothing, the sixth rounder in 2026. So I feel like we really didn't really give much. Again, shout out to Veach, playing chess, not checkers, making sure that we don't bargain our future away just for the moment. Because if you fall short and then you don't have something to pick up or something to look forward to, obviously it's gonna be tough to kind of build the things that you want to build. So shout out to Veach for being so smart when it comes to making moves like that. That's why he's one of the best in the business. And then you just talk about Josh, the things that he had bring to this defense. Obviously, we already know the impact of Chris Jones, Trayshawn Wharton, the way that he's been playing. George Kalatis is getting hot. Mike Dennis coming back from an injury, so he's in and out of the lineup. Derek Nottie. But this kid, I mean, is quick, powerful. Look at this. Dip, balance, hunting you, force. I mean, we get that, and nobody cares. I just don't understand. Nobody's talking about this. So
I think the thing
it's
is that what like Bill Belichick even said, like when he was like, "Oh, it's a 2026 sixth rounder, so we got him for less than nothing." He's gonna make an immediate impact. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Frank Clark in a way, and he's gonna add so much to this D line, and we get Charles Omenihu back. I mean, sky's the limit for this team when it comes to getting sacks. I mean, I did a poll for Chiefs Kingdom for how many sacks a game we think we're gonna get now that we got Uche and Charles Omenihu. But I feel like the sky's the limit on being able to make a consistent pass rush and finally get more sacks completed for this
do,
team. I mean, it's awesome.
do we get an official word for the window of Charles Omenihu yet?
I from what I've been seeing, especially from his updates, it's looking closer to like maybe late November, when he'll be actually activated and back. Um, he's making a lot of progress as far as his rehab or whatever. So I think he'll be back soon. I know for sure before the playoff push for real. So probably late November, early December, somewhere in that time range, which I think is a good time for him to come back, especially when games start to get really meaningful. But
Exactly,
yeah,
man. I'm sorry, I'm just watching this dude, dog. Like, we get that on our defensive line, like, and
yeah,
nobody's talking about it. It's I just can't wait
uh,
to see, if maybe some of this translates to us, and he's able to come in here and win some one on ones, and obviously, the defense has been playing well. So for us to go get a pass rusher, I feel like the guys understand the moment. They understand where we've been struggling at, and they go get a guy again next to nothing who can come in and make the team better right away.
yeah, yeah. I feel like the Uche move was Brett Veach just trying to play chess while everybody's playing checkers. You know, just pointing to kind of what Corey just said in the chat, we really don't know what Charles Omenihu's production will really be, especially coming off that injury. So I think it's really great that you're being aggressive and going to get another guy and a pass rusher that can win his one-on-one matchups on the outside, and you pair him up now with a guy like Chris Jones who takes on so many double teams and frees other guys up. I think this really helps, especially in third downs. I feel like that's the kind of role he's probably going to play, just be that situational pass rusher. Also, a guy who's very athletic, has a lot of speed, can bend the corner. Something that's not really prevalent for Speed Spagnola in the way he likes his defensive ends. But this is the way the league is kind of trending at this point in time. You got to have guys that can win with speed and win with being able to kind of bend that corner and edge. Quarterbacks are getting a lot more athletic. You got guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson that can move and take off at any point in time and make plays with their feet, extend plays as well. So I feel like you need guys like this that can win quickly and win in a hurry. and it really helps, especially when you're going down the stretch and playing, like I said, in meaningful games. This could be a guy that can come in for you and make a real meaningful, impactful play, and maybe even get you the ball back with how quickly he wins. So love the acquisition. Very feel like a very underrated player. Still has a lot to prove. Still young too, in a sense. Only 26 years old. So he's still got a lot of football left to play in him. I think it could be something that they ended up bringing him back even next year if they really feel like if he comes in and has a productive year. So 11 and a half sacks in 2022 when Matthew Judon was on the other side of him. So I think like I said on the pod the other night, it's a complimentary condiment piece. He's the honey mustard. I feel like to this defensive line right now. So
Yeah, facts.
100%. And I mean, let me lay down a line for you. You got George Karlaftis, you got Charles Omenihu, you got Chris Jones, you got Uche, you got even Leo Chanel. You got all these guys that can make huge plays. Shout out to Leo Chanel, who also had a sack this weekend. But like, man, this defense already was freaking good, and you're giving us an opportunity to get a diamond in the rough when it comes to a pass rusher. I mean, they keep acting like we get away with shit. This is the shit that they should be worried about, not about the refs are in our pockets. How about great moves by great organizations that really understand? Like, I feel like this move specifically really helps with the injury with our DBs, right? What's a great way to help DBs not get beat? How about you get to the quarterback? And this guy's got the speed. You also pair him with Chris Jones. I mean, you pair him with Tershawn Wharton, with a Mike Pinnell, you with George Karlaftis, even with FAU at points, who has been showing flashes of why we drafted
He has
him.
been playing well. He's been playing well.
Yes. So it's like, and the thing is, like, reports, Albert Breer, they've all been saying that there is possibly another move. Maybe it be, whether it be a corner, whether it be an offensive piece, who knows? They're saying that Veach is being a little more aggressive than he usually is, and I think we're only going to reap the benefits from it. The Raiders game, obviously, like we've all said, it just felt like a comfortable click on the offense, and even when it seemed like the defense wasn't clicking at first, they settled down, they made huge plays, they got a fumble recovery, they stopped him on turnover on downs. Madison, 12 carries, 13 yards. I mean, come on, at this point, it's like they're second in the league in defense. People consider them the best defense in the league at this point. And we're taking on a Bucks team that is a little depleted, but still they can still put up points, especially showing last week against the Falcons. Let's go right to that. Because I don't know the health status of Mike Evans. I know Chris Godwin's out for the year. I feel like it's still going to be a tougher game than most people think. Like, Kate Auden is a great tight end. Rashad White and Bucky Irving have been a great running back tandem for this team. And Baker has been playing his best football I think I've seen, given the circumstances. He also is tied for interceptions with Mahomes. So we talk about Mahomes and his turnovers. Why don't we talk about Baker Mayfield? You know?
Yeah. Bucks obviously come in pretty beat up at the receiver position. Both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I don't expect Mike Evans to be out there. I think that they were banking on his return being after, I believe after their bye week, which is coming up soon. I think it's week 10 or week 11, one of those. But obviously Chris Godwin out for the year. Prayers up to him for his speedy recovery. But yeah, Bucks come in with young receivers, kind of out there playing for them. Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer, Sterling Shepard. So not guys that you would say put a lot of fear in you, but still can be effective, especially with a guy like Baker Mayfield throwing them the ball. That game last week against the Falcons. I just kind of feel like if they had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, maybe they could win in that type of scenario, where it's kind of a shootout. But yeah, I think that the story of their season has really been they've been able to put up the points, but that defense has not been able to stop anybody for real. That's the side of the ball. I think they've been really struggling on that side, especially in that secondary. It hasn't looked as good as you would hope for up until this point in time. So yeah, think Baker, and them can kind of hold the fort and maybe put up some points, but I think it's kind of gonna come boil down to what their defense will be able to do against us if they can stop us and force us into some turnovers or something like that. But I think if as long as the Chiefs play a clean game offensively, they should win this game pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry about that. I'd agree with you as well. I feel like Baker Mayfield is playing a little bit better than a lot of people wrote him off to be. He had that offense clicking early. Obviously, a lot of people are dealing with receiver injuries across the board around the league. So it's one of those years where where you got to find what you can find. Obviously, they still got a guy like Mike Evans, but I don't expect him to play either. So you got to rely on the young guys. Cade Otton's a talented tight end, but Monday Night Football in Kansas City, asking a depleted Bucks team to come in against this defense without the guys, who get the engine running. I think it's going to be a tall task. Not saying that it won't be a competitive game because I think so, but I think this team is kind of just starting to hit its gear. I know it's only week 8 for us, but I know I can tell when people are trying to start getting into that gear to start getting in the right mind to start understanding what we need to do. So I think we're starting to get a better identity of who we are. Obviously we got to keep guys fresh, so I think just us staying healthy is important, but um, again, it's a tall task for them to ask. I think we're going to rely on that running game. Levante David and Britt, they've been in and out the lineup with injuries. Obviously I expect those guys to be there on defense. Vita Vey also has been dealing with injuries as well. So it's going to be interesting, how we can scheme it up against, well, I think one of the better defensive coordinators in the league. He's given us some problems with Todd Bowles. So Todd Bowles will probably have a game plan right away. But I expect Travis Kelsey to kind of, to lean on Kelsey a little earlier than we have probably throughout the season. I think he'll have a good night just based on their matchups. I don't really think they have a guy that can cover him. I think Kareem Hunt is another guy who's just been, man, one of the unsung heroes of the offense. He's been doing his job, been doing it to the best of his ability, given the circumstances and the things that he had to overcome as well. So, shout out to Kareem Hunt. And then Patrick Mahomes for me has been cleaning it up. I know he's, the numbers won't be pretty and some of the things won't be. Um, quarterback of the year or, Mr. America, but I feel like he's finding his rhythm. He's making it work with the guys in the room. And I think DeAndre Hopkins is a big relief off of his shoulders, a big back in the mind. He don't have to worry and, think so much and how that, that thing calling up his back and, trying to worry about who he's going to get the ball to, who's going to get open. He can definitely rely on that. It's going to change the way the defenses play us. It's going to rely on some guys to get open and some tough situations. So I'm not sure if the Bucks are going to be able to man that task, especially when we come out. And I think the defenses just want to capitalize on what they've been doing. And I expect Spags to have a great game plan because they're not going to take the Bucks lightly at all.
100%. I mean, looking at the Bucks defense specifically, when it comes to their entire defense, they give up the third most receiving yards in the league, the third most 20-yard plays in the league, the third most touchdowns in the league, and those teams in front of them are the Jaguars and the greatest team on earth, the Baltimore Ravens. I mean,
Apparently,
that
that's what that paper was saying.
yeah, I mean, they've given up 6 40-yard plays. They've given up 27 20-yard plays. I mean, they've given up 15 passing touchdowns. I mean, this is a Bucks secondary that gives up big plays easily. And I feel like this is a D-Hop game and this is going to be a great game for D Hop to play. This also, I predicted before the year even started when we looked at the schedule that this might be the game where Xavier Worthy like really pops off.
I was
I
about to
think
say the
that's
same
also.
thing.
I said DG. I said this all the way
They're
when
gonna
the
take some
schedule
deep
dropped.
shots to him for sure this game.
Yeah.
If he's gonna get the ball, I could see
Yeah.
them taking like 3 to 4 deep shots to him this game.
So it's going to be exciting to see our offense against this defense because this defense is so poor. They're also not the best in against the rush. They're the 12th worst rushing defense. But they also, when it comes to their offense specifically, they have a decent rush offense. They have a really good passing offense. I mean, like we've been saying, Baker is playing well. I feel like if Mike and Godwin were in here, I think this might be the first possible shootout game that we could have had, but because of the depletion on their offense, I feel like
And
it's not going
our
to be.
offense too, because
Yeah,
if
our
we had our
offense too.
guys,
You're right.
we had our guys healthy, you'll be looking at obviously D Hop wouldn't be here, but I mean obviously if we had our guys right now, you'd be looking at a receiving core with Hollywood Brown, Rasheed Rice, and DeAndre Hopkins. So good luck, but that's fun, but that's not happening. So
100%. And I don't I think Josh Uche is definitely going to play, but he's probably going to be like D Hop and have limited snaps, but
It'll be
I mean,
situation.
I
yeah,
think he's
I
going to
don't
make
I
some
don't
great
think we'll
plays.
see much of him. It'll probably be maybe, especially if he's the way that that he's looking on film. They're not gonna want to put too much of him out there. They're gonna probably build him in slowly. But I mean, I can see him being out there this game for sure. Don't get me wrong, because we definitely need the help. So, if there's a situation where we can get to the pass rusher, I expect to see number 55 out there for sure. But I think they're gonna gradually work him in to that defensive end kind of rotation spot. So we'll see what happens. But it's exciting to have a guy like that can get to the quarterback in a plethora of ways. So I'm excited for him, man. He's in a good defense with some good coaches, a good D-line coach, an excellent defensive coordinator, and a Hall of Fame defensive tackle on his line. So, and some guys around him that can help, obviously. So I'm sure they welcome into KC with big arms.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My expectations for Xavier Worthy to really have a good game in this game. I think that you know, you giving those stats of them giving up those kind of explosive plays, and like I said, speaking to their secondary, it's not been good this year, especially from the cornerback position for them. Letting go Carlton Davis, I think, is kind of at this point kind of backfiring on them at this point in time. And I know that they were really going to rely on another guy like Jamel Dean to kind of step up and be that corner for them, but I think he's been hurt a little bit this year. So now you're facing guys that obviously have been giving up some explosive plays. So I think that there'll be some shots the Chiefs should obviously try to take, especially early on, just to see how they kind of react to those plays. But yeah, I think the main thing for us defensively is to continue to keep doing what we're doing, stop the run, earn the right to pass rush, and then after that, once you get that Arrowhead crowd rocking and that pass rush gets going, things can tend to get a little bit spooky. So um, hopefully that happens and then you get some opportunities for a guy like Josh O'Shea to come in and be in on third downs and stuff like that situationally to see what he can kind of do. But yeah, man, I fully expect us to be able to go out there and execute and win this game comfortably and be 8-0.
100%. Do we want to give any score predictions or just leave it at that?
Mm,
I think
nah,
I said 27-17 last night on Kingdom Cast, so I'll stick with that.
yeah, I ain't giving no score predictions because every time I say we ain't gonna give up 20, we do. So I think I think I think we dunk on the Bucks on Monday Night Football. I think it's that. If y'all remember that play years ago when DeAndre dunked on Brandon Knight, I think it's gonna be something like that. The boys can't touch us. Looking like an 8-0. As long as we play some. No, I'm just playing. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think they're going to come out and bring that A game no matter who's out there. It's the Chiefs, it's the back to back Super Bowl champs. They're going to come out with their best swing no matter who's on the field. So I expect it to be close earlier on, but I think our second half adjustments maybe take us out of the way for us to kind of chill in the second half, fourth quarter. So I'm expecting like a 30-point performance from this offense. I think Travis Kelsey has a night. I think he's starting to find his rhythm, and I think we have a guy now that can make it a little easier for him. So I'm predicting a huge game from Travis Kelsey, and I think the offensive line and Kareem Hunt continue to build on what they've been doing as well.
Hell yeah. I think it's going to be. I think I'm going to go with a 28-20 kind of game. I still think it's a backdoor cover for the Bucks. Well, I don't know what the point spread is, but it probably won't be then because I don't know what the score spread is. I don't even care. But the Chiefs are gonna win 28-20. I think this is gonna be Pat's most complete game. I mean, I think he's been playing really well since that Chargers game. But I feel like 300 yards, maybe 3 touchdowns, two in the air, one on his legs, who knows? But I feel like it's gonna happen. I feel like this is gonna be one of those like remind it games. I know we've been saying it kind of every week. We thought the Kermit game was gonna be the game where he's like, "This is me," and he played well. And I just think it's gonna happen. I expect Xavier Worthy to explode. I think this might be his first 100-yard game. I know he had a lot of growing pains last week against the Raiders, but like Trizzy said earlier, the Raiders secondary is pretty good in this league. So this is a depleted secondary. You got D Hop, you got Travis taking away a lot of the attention, and you just jet and go. And then you got guys like McCole and Noah Gray to make things easier on you. And hopefully we get to see a little bit more of Jared Wiley. I know a lot of people had a lot of high hopes for him coming out of the draft, and he's had just minimal snaps, but it'd be nice to see a little Jared Wiley get cooking too. So I'm hoping for a great game. I think 28-20 is probably the safest bet for me. I kind of want to bet that they do over 30 points, but every time I do, they don't. So
Right.
I don't want to jinx them at all.
Keep it that way.
That's why I have the header. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. So let's just take a look at the NFL schedule this week. Week 9.
Corey has the Chiefs 34-17.
My bad, Corey. It's hard to host, man. A lot of good games. I think the Green Bay Detroit game is probably game of the week. It's going to determine a lot of things, especially with. I feel like Detroit's true test since the Vikings game. I know Detroit's been cooking, and Jared Goff has had like an unreal completion
Is Jordan
percentage.
Love gonna play?
I think Malik Willis gives them a better chance to win right now. I know that's saying something, but I think I don't know.
We'll see. Find out.
See what happens.
Hopefully Jordan Love is able to go in that game. It'll be a lot better. I feel like quarterback matchup between him and Jared Goff. So, but yeah, definitely big game of the week for them. Kind of surprised that game is not the Sunday night game. So,
also the Broncos Ravens might be sneaky upset. Could be a sneaky upset. Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, Broncos have been playing better than what a lot of people have expected. And Bo Nix is, he hasn't been perfect, but he's been playing well enough to get the dub. So
yeah, and that Broncos defense has been playing pretty well this year as well too. So
Yeah, it could be an interesting game for sure. For sure. I would say. I know Dallas haven't really been playing that well, but maybe they have a chance to bounce back against the Falcons. I don't know if Michael Parsons is going to be back, but I know Deron Blaine is coming off IR. So, get a guy like that who set the record for the most pick sixes last year. So, having a ball hawk like that is always good to get him back. So, we'll see if the Cowboys will be able to bounce back. That'll be interesting. Um, Miami over Buffalo. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Corey. We'll
especially at
see.
home.
Yeah, we'll see. And then Buffalo always plays the Dolphins pretty well. Even when Tua was playing in the Buffalo game when they played them earlier this year, they were able to kind of have their way with them. So we'll see what happens. But not too many games that really stick out for me. It's going to be interesting to see if the Browns can keep it rolling with Jameis. Obviously, he was able to get that big divisional win against the Ravens last week. So, see if they're able to build on that and make the AFC North a little more interesting and see if the Ravens run away with it. See if the Bengals can bounce back against the Raiders. But, we'll see.
Also, another sneaky game is that divisional matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks. I know the Seahawks started hot and they've been kind of up and down since.
Yeah, they got
And the
that
Rams
prospect.
are finally cooking because they got Puka and Cooper Cup back. So it's going to be a good game. Also, I think, Corey was mentioning an upset. I think I got an upset. I think I probably shouldn't bet it, but I think Giants could do something to the Commanders. Last game they had against them, if the Giants had a field goal kicker, they probably would have won that game. So I think at home it's better. I think Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors somehow have a great connection because that's the only connection they have.
Yeah.
In the Giants. And then that Tracy got who's the running back for the Giants played out of this world against the
Tyrone
Steelers.
Tracy.
So,
Yeah, he had a great game.
yeah, so I think that could be a real big upset. And then tomorrow I think is going to be a very interesting game too because Texans
They could
have
be in trouble.
that's
The injuries right now,
it's
receiver.
also being like the Jets.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick back, Devontae Adams. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. I think the Texans kind of come in a little bit banged up. Obviously losing Stephon Diggs, prayers up to him as well too for the season.
Prayers
Hopefully
up for sure.
pretty speedy recovery. But yeah, the Texans are down Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins at this point,
Tough.
and headed in to face. I feel like still the Jets secondary that's still pretty good at this point in
Good
time.
defense still.
But we've seen the Jets kind of fall on their faces, especially in these primetime games or whatever. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
if they lose again, they got to trade Devontae.
Again. Trade him to us.
Never.
Nah. Yeah, we don't need him. Do we think there's even a possibility that the Panthers could beat the Saints?
No.
No.
Not at all.
That's a great one off there. Okay. I think another great game. Just looking at the schedule and then I think we could call it after that. I think a sneaky good game is going to be Bears versus Cardinals. Cardinals have been figuring it out lately. Kyler's been playing really well. Shout out to Trey McBride, who's been a fantastic tight end piece for them. I feel like I forget the name of the coach. What's the name of the coach?
Oh, for Arizona, Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah. Gannon, yeah. I think he got kind of a bad rap. I mean, I know as soon as he became a Cardinals head coach, there's that viral clip of him trying to dap up Kyler, and it just looks super awkward. And it was like, but I mean, I feel like ever since Kyler came back last season, at the very end of the season, they've been gelling. It's kind of been up and down, but Kyler's been having moments. They've beaten San Francisco. They beat a good Chargers team. They just came back against the Dolphins. And this is coming off of a Bears loss that, man, there's just a lot of bad press when it comes to the Bears right now, especially with how they handled that Hail Mary. Oh, man.
Someone asked a question. My bad, Dom.
No, you're good.
Replacing Frank Clark. Frank Clark is one of the replicate. I think so. Replacing Frank Clark. Frank Clark is one of the best quarterback sackers in the playoffs the NFL's ever seen. So asking him to come in and fill some roles like that, that'll be crazy. If he's anything close to Frank Clark, the league is in trouble. I can tell you that much. But I do definitely think with the way that he's able to win his one on ones, he's quick off the ball. He, like Belichick said, he's got sneaky strength. He's got some moves too, man. So I think Uche can really be a guy for us, man. So keep your eyes on him for sure. My bad. Go
100%.
ahead.
No, that's good. We're good. I think what I kind of want to end on is the reports of the Chiefs and the organization making one more move, possibly. And I personally believe we're kind of done making moves unless we do a free agent. But with the landscape of the NFL currently, I mean, we saw the Jets trade for Devontae. We traded for D-Hop and Uche. We got the Ravens finally getting Deontay Johnson, who our team kind of was thinking about getting, I think. A lot of pieces have been happening. Is there any other piece that you guys think could join our team, make a huge impact for us?
No.
I think that I know a lot of people want the corner position to kind of be taken, settled down, or whatever, for them to kind of be aggressive in that area. Um, I just think it's gonna be hard to bring in, a guy who's not really familiar with Spags' system at this point in time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of checks and communication and chemistry that you have to play in that secondary. So to bring a guy in the middle of the season to kind of um, be a missing, or I guess you could say a productive piece at this point in time, I think is a little far fetched from some fans or whatever. Unless it's like a Travarius Ward or somebody like that at this point who's been here before or in a familiar face. That's the only way I really kind of see it at this point in time. But I just think that the Chiefs are probably done making moves at this point. So
Yeah, me too. I don't see. I see. They kind of addressed the pass rush need. That was probably really a need for us. We were struggling in that department. You go and get a D Hop. So I don't really see anybody else, like you saying, unless it's a guy that knows the system, who they feel like can comfortable and come in and play right away. Because we don't have any more bye weeks, so you got to kind of know it on the fly. So I don't see that really happening. I think we have the guys in the room to win right now, and then we get some guys back on the back end.
That's what I thought too. I think people are still floating the idea that if Mike Williams gets dropped, we pick him up. I don't think that happens. The only other person I would think that if we do add an offensive piece could be a Darius Slayton, but I obviously don't think we're going to trade for anybody else. I know there's like the talks of in the space out there that like we're going to do another move. I feel like the only move we could possibly do is maybe get a veteran left tackle. But I think Andy and Veach want to just stick with the guys they got with Wanye and Kingsley and see what we got there. Because otherwise, I mean, like, we're still undefeated. The schedule gets a little tougher these next 3 games with the Bucks, Broncos at home in Mile High Stadium, and you got the Bills. But then after that, kind of gets a little bit easier. So before we get to that like Christmas stretch where we have like 3 games in 10 days. But yeah, I feel like the moves that we've made, getting D-Hop was huge. Adding Uche was awesome. I mean, we got Kareem Hunt. We made a great move in getting Juju. I know he got injured, but at that time, it came in clutch. I mean, I feel like Feach is having a fantastic in-season GM job right now. Like, he's been killing it. And, I mean, it's been shown on the field.
yeah, definitely love the aggressiveness, especially at the trade deadline. It definitely proves that you're putting your chips all in and going for history at this point in time. But I also love the approach of not fully mortgaging your whole future just for this year. Being smart, with being able to trade some picks away, um, getting rid of a 2026 6 round pick for a pass rusher is phenomenal work in my opinion. So love what this staff is doing. They do their homework. Hats off to them, man. Hopefully it turns out very successful for them.
Skull, baby. Monday night
100%.
football.
Yeah, next week, Monday Night Football against the Bucs. Guys, I hope you guys tune in to that and just have some fun, especially if you are in Arrowhead. Just have the time of your life, guys. It's going to be so much fun. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining us today on X, on YouTube. You can catch this episode the next day on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. And we do spaces every Monday and Wednesdays around 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, either hosted by DG, Ethan, myself. And we just talk Chiefs football, go over the games. Also, check out the pregame spaces hosted by DG, by the Kingdom Queens, by Mark Gunnels, by us. Like, we all do a collaborative effort there. If you want to talk Chiefs football on these spaces, don't hesitate to join in. We're all welcome here. Chiefs Kingdom, we're all part of the fam. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Oh, this is Dodgers related.
Did the Dodgers come back?
Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight, man. Chiefs Kingdom, appreciate y'all tuning in. Without y'all, there'd be no us. We appreciate y'all tuning in and giving us questions and giving us insights. So appreciate y'all, man, and make sure y'all give everybody a follow. Trizzy be the name. You see my boy 3P DG, and then not gonna jinx it. Give us all a follow. We'll follow back. So friendly. We'll see you next week, baby. Go
Hell
Chiefs.
yeah, go Chiefs.
Football, baby.
Jeez. They really.
I put it all on my shoulders. Give 100 till it's over. I told you.